Hello guys, my name is Foster, Australian for beer and American for your parents really didn't love you, and today I want to talk a little bit about Coppa, or the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Ugh. So this is kind of feeling familiar. For those that have been watching YouTube for a while, you'll be familiar with the ad apocalypse of a couple years ago. Basically, what happened with the adpocalypse is a lot of channels that were that had violence, primarily video games, but there were others, or had any cursing whatsoever, were demonetized on YouTube. Like, yeah, we're starting to see their ads pulled, and it was because a lot of ad revenues were being lost because. If you're, say, Coca-Cola, you don't want your brand to be paired alongside violence or hate speech, which is understandable. But then it also got to, it was an overcorrection. It got to that. And then there were a lot of things that were copyright strikes. Like about half of our videos on Peer Productions are copyright strikes, regardless of whether they have any copyrighted material in them or not. And there's no real way to fight that. So that's fun. But yeah, we got our channel also demonetized because they demonetized channels that didn't have a certain number of subscribers or a certain amount of watch time in the month. And yeah, that's about where we are right now. Where our channel is still growing slowly, which is great. But yeah, that's the position that we're in. Pure Productions hasn't had monetization for a while, and we've just been posting for the love of our community, for the love of the work, and we do have some patrons on Patreon that really do help. I think we've gotten more money off of Patreon than we ever have on YouTube, because if you look at ad revenues, when it's good, it's like about $1 per 1,000 views. That's how you can view it. But now it's getting to a point where even that's uncertain. So now with this Child Online Privacy Protection Act that was implemented a while back, the whole purpose of it was basically to protect kids while they're online. That means that companies shouldn't be collecting data about children to target ads to children, because the justification is that they aren't mature enough to handle that, and I honestly agree. I think a lot of the biggest YouTubers, I'm saying the few like Logan Paul or PewDiePie, I think that they have gotten almost all of their ad revenue and everything that they have from targeting kids, and I think that's terrible, and I think they should have been taken down like a long time ago. But I also, because I view those practices where they're trying to target kids as predatory, and it just is. The issue is that this is an overcorrection now. We have, and it's one that's not even going to take down those guys, because they said that it was a $42,000 fine per infraction. So basically every video that they deem as something that targets kids can incur a $42,000 fine. Now, for Peer Productions, we have about 100 videos. If even one of them is, for whatever reason, considered targeted to kids, even though none of them are, that's a $42,000 fine that none of us can afford, and the channel will probably be brought down, and yep, probably me along with it. So that's fun. But as far as like Logan Paul, if any of those videos got more than 42 million views, then he's safe. Like, he can just pay off the fine and keep doing what he's been doing. And this can only hurt. I mean, this can only take down the smaller channels, not the big ones. And And even with all that, my bigger concern is that if anyone if anyone stumbles in this direction, if anyone like myself or like our community is trying to just make art, if anyone is trying to just make music and put it up on YouTube, they could potentially be targeted by this and completely ruined by this, which is ridiculous. Like, the reason that all this started is because YouTube actively made a decision, the CEOs of YouTube actively made a decision to start getting all of this targeted ads towards kids because they wanted the money from kids. They wanted that predatory transaction to help fund their platform. And they chose this, and now rather than take responsibility for that action, it's all being put on content creators. And like I said, some of them are responsible, like the Logan Pauls and PewDiePie. Yeah, they definitely knew what they were doing. They were actively targeting kids, and they wanted it that way. But I think a lot of people on YouTube aren't doing that, and I'm worried that a lot of those people that aren't doing that are going to get caught in the crossfire, because YouTube doesn't want to take responsibility for its own actions. All they ever had to do, by the way, was say, okay, we will not accept any ads from things that target kids. If they had done that, none of us would be in this situation in the slightest, because then nobody could actually make money trying to sell the kids. Like, the only way they could is with Patreon, which means you need people so invested. You need people so invested that they are willing to support your channel, or through merch. Like, those are the only two ways. And as opposed to like unboxing videos where it's, oh, look at this toy, you know. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But yeah, my issues with it are, this is going to wipe out pretty much any small content creators that weren't necessarily wanting to be caught, they weren't necessarily trying to sell to kids, like, at all. So yeah, it could be us, it could be anybody. And I am leery of what this will do to people who are trying to make art. Because, I don't know, it seemed like YouTube was a place where people could make art and post it. And yeah. And more as the years go on, power is being stripped away. Like, imagine for a moment, just imagine that half of the restrictions put on YouTube were put on movies. Like, if Marvel's Endgame was demonetized because it had violence, like, they said, all right, we're pulling all of the money, all of the profit that you got from Endgame, we are taking 98% of it, and we're going to fine you several $1,000s. Like, imagine a world where that's happening, because that's what's happening to YouTube. But the difference is, because YouTube CEOs aren't shelving any of the blame for their shitty actions, because they are putting it all on content creators, it's going to a place where we have no protection, where we have no union. We have no one to defend us from YouTube CEOs fucking us over because of their shitty decisions. That's what's making a lot of people angry, is that YouTube decided to target to kids. They got called out for it, and they decided to shift the blame because they didn't want to take the blame for their shitty actions. And in so doing, they're now getting caught, innocent people in the crossfire. I understood, and I was sympathetic to YouTube when it was trying to be more ad friendly, because they need ads, because they need to because they need to be able to afford the server infrastructure for all of YouTube's videos that constantly get uploaded. Like, I get that. That's an understandable problem. But targeting kids wasn't the way to do it. And now we're paying the price for that as opposed to them. They should be the ones, they should be the ones paying for this, not us. And they shouldn't have made that decision in the first place. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know what videos we're gonna make. This channel was never meant for kids, like, clearly. Like, a couple videos I'm talking about what kind of a life a suicidal person could have. God, I hope kids aren't watching this. But we did do the things like the YouTube was instructing us, like no violence, no cursing. Like, we tried to cut back on that. I cursed a little just earlier in the video, so it's gonna get demonetized no matter what. So what do I fucking care? God damn it. Yeah, this is all really, really sad. And I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where artists are protected rather than attacked. Fun.